in their lives. We can't take that period from age 1 to 8 and just completely eliminate men. I saw this, I'm like, "Okay, I have something to say about this, and it's not what everyone else is saying." Why are men done? You know, people analyze what's happening more recently in time, but not what's happened in the past to bring us to where we are now. And if you stay through to the end of the video, you're going to realize it is kind of a matrix we're stuck in. And what is really going on that caused this? Men don't want to date anymore. Is it what we really think it is? Men don't want to get married anymore. Is it really what we think it is? And women, a lot of women don't want to get married. A lot of women don't want to date. What is going on? What is really going on? And I don't think it is what everyone thinks it is that's happening today with dating and dating apps. I mean, yes, this all contributes, and this is all a symptom of what's happened way back in the past. You might have a bad reaction to what I'm about to tell you. You might not want to believe it, or you might immediately wake up and be like, what? How did we end up like this? So what is it? Why are men done? Men are done. So I gave this a lot of thought, and it really goes back to our youth. So follow me. Stick with this. You're born. Wonderful. It's time for you to go to school. Your mom drops you off at nursery school. Who's running the nursery school? A woman. And what are you doing at nursery school? She's in charge, and she's giving you tasks to complete. She's giving you instructions. She's telling you what to do. And then you move on to kindergarten after nursery school. And your mom takes you there, and she drops you off. And who's running the kindergarten class? It's a woman, and she's telling you what to do. And she's teaching you. And you're given tasks, and you try to complete the tasks she gives you. You try to make her happy because then you get rewards and stuff. You get good feelings. You get a star. You get things. And then what happens? You continue to grow up, and then it's time to, in the US, enter grade school. And this is 8 years long, grades 1 through 8. And what is happening in grade school? Your mom drops you off at school, and who is running the school? Well, for me, it was nuns, it was women, and secular and regular women who weren't part of the order. So principal was a nun and a woman. Secretary was a woman. All the teachers were women. All the playground mothers, women. So for 8 years, in our formative years, we're being dropped off and spending the entire day with women who are telling us what to do, who are punishing and rewarding us. Yeah, you following? In my school, we had a demerit system, which were these pink slips. And every time you did something wrong, you got a demerit. You'd get a demerit, the teacher would put it on your desk, and you were shamed. You, you didn't follow what she said, and you were humiliated and shamed. And if you got 10 of these demerits, what happened? You weren't allowed to go on the class trip at the end of the year, wherever you went to the museum or everybody got on a bus. It was a little bit of freedom. You weren't allowed to go if you got 10 of those. What happened to me? One year I got 10. I wasn't allowed to go. It was 9 other dudes and one girl who's, I still remember, she was sweet and wonderful, and there was no reason for her not to be able to go on the class trip, but she got shamed too. So think about what's going on in our formative years, the most important years of our lives. We're spending our entire day with women who are telling us what to do, who are teaching us what we need to do to please them, who are teaching us to obey them. If you don't obey, you get punished, you get humiliated, you get left behind, you don't get to go on the trip, you don't get to do stuff. Think about that. Jump ahead to your life now. You were taught during those formative years. Now you're in a relationship. Now you're in a marriage. Tell me how different that is from grade school. Are you trying to please her? Is she punishing and rewarding you? Well, think about it. Is she withholding when you do something wrong and do not perform the tasks as she's laid them out? Have you gone from this independent masculine man to some pleasy, trying to get your little bit of cheese, your little bit of reward, right? Is that what's happened? Is that what you're participating in? Is that what your marriage was like? Is that what your relationship's like now? You find yourself repeating this scenario you had for 8 years in grade school. She's making you line up. She's giving you times and the whistle's blowing and it's 12 o'clock. Now you get to eat. Now you get to do that. Oh, you stepped out of line. You didn't conform. You get punished. You don't get the trip. You don't get the special treat. Do you have a transactional relationship with your wife or girlfriend? Is that what's going on? Is your bedroom situation dependent upon the tasks you complete instead of the love you have between the two of you? Now, not all relationships are going to be affected like this. Some men maintain their masculinity. But you see also, gentlemen, how women are being trained at an early age to be this way. That female teacher is the role model for, okay, here, young women, here's how you train and get your men to obey. That female teacher is their model. So if you're wondering why your girlfriend or wife is acting like this, she was trained to do that. It's really not her fault. The educational system during the formative years is female dominated. So she's being taught to do that, to, okay, I'm going to be in charge. I'm going to give him tasks. I'm going to punish him. I'm going to reward him. I'm going to shame him. He's not going to be allowed to go on the class trip. He can't go fishing with his buddies. Yeah. If you really look at it, you'll see the parallels and your tendency as men to behave this way, to pedestalize her like she's the teacher. Let me just make her happy. Let me not step out of line because I'll get punished. And women are like, oh, here's how you get a man to behave. She's being taught to manipulate men, to get what she wants, to get them to behave, to get them to conform. How many of you been in relationships where you got isolated from your friends? Will you let that happen? She's trying to make you, her, the main focus in your life, like the teacher at school. Yes. Is it making sense to you now, gentlemen and women of the tribe? We're both being trained to do this, and it's not in either of our natures to be like this. We're lining up in rows. We're getting off at 12 to go on the playground. We're coming back after an hour and working again. Yeah, we're being trained to be good workers, no doubt. And we're being trained as men to suppress our natural tendency not to put up with a bunch of bunk. It's to conform, to not be masculine. And women are trained to be more masculine and not be feminine and supportive and kind and all the things that, are feel very natural to them. Do women really want to be like this? I would guess no. I would guess they want a truly equal relationship where everyone's bringing the best of their femininity and the best of their masculinity because they really naturally go together. These opposites naturally go together. We're kind of being pitted against each other, and it's to our detriment, but it's helping someone. I don't know. I don't know who they are. Who is that? Is it this cabal? Is there some secret cabal of women? I doubt it. You know, is it, who knows? Who knows? But you could see how it's making us really good workers and really unhappy. So when you see these messages of men are done, men are this, men are that, what's it stemming from? I think it's really going back to this educational system and the lack of men. Even my gym teacher when I was in grade school was a woman. It was constant. Half the time it was a woman driving the bus. They were the authority figures and in charge for all those formative years. And even some of the sports, not when I was a kid, but more to the now, the sports teams, the soccer, it's a mom coach. Young men are constantly being subservient to women in these roles and trying to please women in these roles. What else is going on? Divorce, right? So what is that? He did that on the weekend, every other weekend, whenever he gets the kids. A short period of time. But for the majority of the time, that male child is with the mother. So without that two-parent household, he's not getting a dose of masculinity every day from the father and being taught from the father. The father becomes fun time guy on the weekend. He's got to, take him to a carnival or, make sure that young Johnny and Timmy and Steve likes him. He's, trying to squeeze it all in a very short period of time. He doesn't have that system where he can, hey, son of mine, here's some harsh truths. Here's some harsh truths of the world. He's got to be fun time dad. You can't really teach the kid the hard lessons in that short period of time, and he's kind of have to defend his status. It's not a very natural situation, and it's not a good situation for the daughters or the sons to learn. And they never get to see a relationship between the mother and the father and how that should work. All they have is grades kindergarten, nursery school, and grades 1 through 8, where women are being taught to treat men like this, and this is how you get them to behave, and men are being taught to try to be pleasing and obey and conform to what the woman wants and trying to please her, being humiliated and, just having to be quiet and line up and, stand at this time, sit at this time, pray at this time, go to the playground at this time, and if you stepped out of line, you got punished. I had this, sit in the back of the room facing the other wall, or you had to go to the principal, you got punished. Who's the principal now? You have to go see your attorney. It's nuts. We're just repeating, these imprints we got when we were young kids. And we're just kind of playing them out again as adults. You look at your relationship, look at it through this lens of what I'm saying here, what we were taught when we were little kids, the situation we're in. I was fortunate enough, after grade school, I went to an all men's school, boarding school, a mix. You could board, you could commute, but mostly male teachers in that situation. And, all my classmates were men. And then college, it was a mix again. Fortunately, I got that mix, but today, a lot of people don't get that much of a mix. It's not to say I didn't have fabulous women teachers. Of course I did. I had all kinds. I had all kinds. Just like, you'll get men teachers that are all kinds. Please, I'm not pitting us, saying men are better, women are, watch out. No, just observe this situation. I think we're both are victims of this scenario in our education system. I think that it deserves some examination. I don't think men could be blamed for becoming more feminine and pleasing and conformist and doing these things that are against their nature. And in the same way, I don't think women could be blamed for trying to act as the teacher and the controlling and manipulating and shaming. They're being taught to be like that. And men are being taught to be like that. We all have mothers and sisters and aunts as men. And, we have some really fabulous women in our lives, right? We've seen women being sweet and wonderful and supportive. And we've seen the opposite too. But this is what's happening. We're being trained. She's being trained to be like this. You're being trained to be subservient. You are being trained to not, oh, I don't want to shame. I don't want to rock the boat. I want to behave. I want to be good. I want to be a good boy. Yeah, during your formative years. That's why men are done. And that's why women are done. And that's why everybody's done. I think it's not our modern culture. Yeah, dating apps and all this plays into that, but it just exacerbates what's happening in our formative years. We can get played against each other. We should be go back to being allies, and supporting each other because we can work really amazingly together. Men and women, women and men together, men on their own with other men, women on their own with other. We're tremendous assets to each other. And I think this system is using us and kind of destroying something that's really beautiful and wonderful, which is how we work together and how we complement each other and how our opposites are important. And I just feel like, hey, we're all being manipulated by this, and it's not the truth. Here's the truth. We need female and men need female influences in their lives, and they need male influences in their lives. We can't take that period from age 1 to 8 and just completely eliminate men from the equation. Men and women both, we suffer from that lack of male influence, positive male influence. Yeah, it's super important. Okay, tribe. If you got something out of this video, please subscribe. It's great to have everyone along for the ride. Uh, Please, everyone, make comments, men, women. I want to hear what you have to say. Have you thought of this before? Have you thought that this was really what's going on? Is this the first time? We think, it's all the immediate. It's all the way society's developed today in the past year. It's this, it's AI, it's dating apps, it's, single moms, it's this, it's that. Hmm. These are all symptoms of something that came before. And I think we could do better. Okay. So like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.